All right, chat. We're reacting to 5 most disturbing diving videos. I already know it's probably finna happen. There's finna be some dumbasses thinking they can do some shit that they can't, and they finna get aged. So let's get to this video, my guy.
Antoine went on a vacation to Pemba Island.
Let me restart that shit again.
In September 2019, 40-year-old Stephen Weber Jr. and his girlfriend Kanisha Antoine went on a vacation to Pemba Island. Stephen had been dating Kanisha for a while by this point and had planned to propose to her during this trip. What neither of them knew, however, was that the happiest trip of their lives was about to turn into an irreversible tragedy. The groundwork for this tragedy was laid when the two arrived at the island and checked in to stay at the Manta Resort just off the coast. It had a nice, uninterrupted view of the ocean, as well as a roof area to relax and enjoy the tropical weather. However, the most important feature of this resort was the underwater room, which offered a 360-degree view of the marine life surrounding the resort. This room served as the whole idea behind how Stephen had planned to propose. He put on swimming goggles and dived down to one of the windows in this room, prompting Kanisha to begin recording. He then unrolled a paper note inside a Ziploc bag and pressed it against the window. It read, "I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you, but everything I love about you, I love more every day." He then flipped the note, and on the other side was a marriage proposal for Kanisha, reading, "Will you please be my wife?"
Oh, that's cute.
No, that is nice. I ain't gonna lie.
What?
That is nice. But what's finna happen though? Like, I know something finna go wrong though. Did everything go good?
He also showed the wedding ring he'd brought for this occasion before swimming up to hear Kanisha's response. At this point, Kanisha stopped recording and rushed to the surface floor, eager to give her answer. But once she looked outside, instead of a smiling Stephen, she saw nothing. Stephen was nowhere to be seen. Kanisha climbed the roof, hoping he might have been up there. Unfortunately, there were no signs of Stephen anywhere. He had vanished somewhere between showing her the ring and swimming up to the surface. After understanding the full gravity of the situation, Kanisha called for help, with several locals rushing to her aid.
Bro,
unfortunately, it took some
what?
time to find Stephen. He was floating in the water, and by that point, it was already too late. Some resort workers tried to revive him with CPR, however, it wasn't effective. Stephen had miscalculated how long he could hold his breath underwater and drowned before he could reach the surface. You can even see his hand shaking as he holds the ring near the end of the video, his body desperately telling him he needs air now. But in an effort to get his point across and make the moment that much more special, he ignores this, and unfortunately pays the ultimate price.
Damn, bro. I don't know why I'm smiling, my nigga. Bro, this nigga really drowned. He tried to propose to his girl and drowned, bro. That shit is insane, my nigga. That's insane, bro.
Mini Joe is a
I don't even
YouTube
know
channel
what to
that
say.
occasionally posted travel videos up until 3 years ago. Most of these were typical travel vlogs showcasing the hosts of different expeditions around the world. However, out of the roughly 30 videos they've uploaded, one stands out for just how disturbing it is. This video contains a collection of footage Joe and his friends captured while doing technical dives in the Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt, which is often considered the deadliest diving spot in the world. There are a few conflicting reports on the total number, but most people agree that somewhere between 130 and 200 divers have met their end while trying to reach its depths. That is an average of 8 lives lost per year, and unfortunately, the total is still going up. What's worse is that the remains of many victims are never recovered, which is exactly what made Mini Joe's video so unsettling. Their dive started off like any other, but as they descended deeper, they came across the tanks, lines, and suits of those who came before and never made it back. Some of the remains were wedged into narrow crevices on the ocean floor, hinting at what might have gone wrong for them. Most were also taken over by the environment, suggesting they might have been down there for years. Above all, these encounters served as a constant reminder of the true danger of technical diving. Divers often have to carry multiple heavy tanks before they can even begin the descent. Then, once they're in the water, they have to constantly monitor their oxygen levels while also staying aware of their surroundings. Things only become more dangerous the deeper they dive, where even a moment's distraction can quickly turn fatal. However, all of this is true for any dive, regardless of the location. What makes the Dahab Blue Hole even more dangerous is the false sense of security it provides. Blue holes, for those who don't know, are like vertical caves in oceans that go a lot deeper than the surrounding ocean floor. And the one in Dahab, Egypt is an even more extreme version of that. One of the biggest contributors to its deadliness is its depth of about 426 feet, or around 130 meters, which isn't very apparent from the surface. It's also an almost vertical drop to the bottom. This catches many new divers off guard, causing them to miscalculate their gas levels and tragically become another name on the memorial near the diving site. One of the most well-known cases of this is 22-year-old Yuri Lipsky, a Russian diving instructor with plenty of experience under his belt. However, he had no prior experience with the Dahab Blue Hole, resulting in it taking his life. The footage from his recovered diving camera showed him descending into the depths faster than expected, struggling to keep his gas levels in check, trying to quickly slow down his descent, causing the buoyancy device to burst, and eventually succumbing to nitrogen poisoning in just 4 minutes after starting his dive. However, the sheer depth is only one part of this blue hole's danger. As Mini Joe's video demonstrated, the other part of its lethality comes from the network of partially collapsed caves littered throughout the area. They promise incredible views and look like—
Bro, chat, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I like trying new things. I like exploring. But you won't catch me doing shit like this. Exploring caves and shit. These niggas in the ocean, bro, trying to explore shit in like, bro, I'm not doing all this extra shit, bro. The most I'm doing is swimming, my nigga. I might take a little dip under there in the swimming pool, but nothing more. These niggas be all, bro, I don't know, bro. These how niggas be dying.
Prime diving spots at first glance, but in all reality, they are deceptively difficult to navigate through. Narrow passages and jagged rocks are everywhere. A single mistake can leave a technical diver stuck in one of these caverns with no way out until their gas tanks inevitably run out. The terrain also makes recovery extremely difficult, and many families of the fallen often opt to just leave their loved ones down there so as not to endanger even more lives in recovery attempts, which explains why Joe came across so many diving suits in his video.
Damn, all them niggas.
In July 2016, a diver named Jacob Childs went on a group diving trip off the coast of southeast Queensland, Australia. The boat stopped roughly 35 miles or about 56 kilometers off the coast, and Jacob was the second to last person to dive. However, a minute after entering the water, the diving line slipped out of his hand. He thought he could swim back to the boat and start over, but as he got closer, he was shocked to realize the rope had been pulled in. And before he could think of what to do next, a strong current swept the ocean's surface and separated him from the boat. To make matters worse, the captain of the boat also sped off to go fishing while everyone was diving. By the time the other divers got back to the boat and realized Jacob was missing, he was already completely out of their view, leaving him stranded in the middle of the ocean 35 miles from the nearest piece of land. That said, the distance from land was the least of Jacob's worries at that moment. For starters, the water around him was nearly 20 degrees Celsius, which is about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This wasn't nearly cold enough to make him freeze up and pass out immediately, but it was cold enough to slowly sap away his body heat, making him more susceptible to hypothermia and exhaustion with every passing minute. It was also late in the afternoon and the sun was about to go down, meaning it was only going to get worse. After a while, a rescue plane flew above him twice, but it didn't see him. And this was while it was still bright, and the inflatable indicator was visible from quite a distance. He knew that once it got dark, his chances of being rescued would drop to almost zero.
Oh, shit. Nigga, once it go dark and you in the middle of the ocean, say goodbye, my nigga. Say goodbye. This nigga is cooked. I'd be surprised if he survived, but this nigga gonna die. I'm already calling it.
Well,
this nigga recording videos in his last moments.
the sun's going down.
How did this footage get
The
recovered?
sun goes down, they won't do nothing.
This nigga must have
That's a
survived.
wrap on old Jakey, I guess.
Unfortunately, there was nothing Jacob could do at that moment but wait and continue recording what possibly could be his last message to his family. Identifying the right direction and then swimming for over 35 miles would have been next to impossible. If he had taken it upon himself to try and reach the coast, he would have likely exhausted himself and drowned partway through. He did try to follow a fishing boat he saw in the distance, but quickly realized that he wouldn't be able to get close enough to get its attention, leaving him feeling dejected.
It's way too far for me. It'd be
Damn.
like 15, 16 meters now.
You said what's going on. So basically, I'm watching 5 most disturbing diving videos, and right now, this segment of the video, this nigga, him and his guys, they all went on a diving trip. But this nigga, everybody went to dive. Everybody dove on the ship, right? The captain fishing. I don't know what the captain on. This nigga trying to have some time too. My nigga, watch this shit. But the captain fishing on some, I don't know what he on. And everybody else diving. So my nigga right here, his thing get like, what's it called? Like his rope disconnected from the boat. And then a current took this nigga far as hell. But everybody underwater. And the captain he overly on bullshit. So now my nigga far as hell. And by the time they realized this nigga was gone, he already far as hell from him, bro. So now he just finna die probably, which is sad.
Besides, swimming too far from his original location would have also reduced his chances of being saved, since rescue teams would.
He talking about this shit finna get restricted. Nah, dead ass. I wouldn't be surprised. You know my shit stay getting restricted.
No longer know where to look. As the sky got darker and the rescue plane failed to
But once
spot
it
him
get
multiple
pitch black,
times,
bro,
the
I
frustration
feel-
was beginning to set in.
There's a plane coming back. There's a rescue boat way over there. Helpful,
Hey.
The salty seawater was also making him extremely dehydrated, worsening his chances of survival by the minute. However, Jacob was experienced enough to know that panicking or getting angry wouldn't do any good. The right thing to do was to stay put while exerting the least amount of effort. After drifting in the middle of nowhere for over 6 hours, he was finally spotted by a helicopter and brought to
Let's
safety on a rescue boat.
go!
With the sun nearly below the horizon, he came dangerously close to losing his life that day. Fortunately, he was able to
Bro.
recover with no permanent injuries.
Bro. I ain't gonna
On the 26th
lie,
of May-
nigga. If I was in that situation, I probably would have died. You feel me? I'm gonna keep it real, bro. It would have been over. Oh, y'all can't hear? Y'all niggas couldn't hear the whole time? Hey, that's why y'all should be in the Kickstream. Kickstream, they getting all the love right now. They got max quality, my nigga. Y'all can hear now though.
May 2013, a
Y'all should have been saying something. But you feel me? Hey, this whole time, hey, tell me why this nigga Snow, right? You been in the stream and never said shit, my nigga. What type of mod are you? And then I got you modded on the Kickstream. You not even in the Kickstream. My nigga, what are you doing? Like, no, you a mod on the Kickstream, so that means you mod on the TikTok stream, basically. And you've been watching this whole time, kicked up, just hearing me talk, watching the video, knowing you can't hear the video. No, he wasn't trying to tell me. You told me to turn it up, and she said it was no sound. This nigga ain't say shit. He been saying bullshit this whole time like he can hear it.
group of 3 tugboats was trying to stabilize an
You talking
oil
about
tanker
AI.
during a harsh storm nearly 20 miles or 32 kilometers off the coast of Nigeria.
You
That's
ill
when
mind,
one of the
yo.
boats named Jaskin 4 got hit by a massive
I'm gonna
rogue
take
wave.
that nigga mod
This
on Kick,
capsized
bro.
the boat, causing it to sink rapidly and disappear below the water surface within seconds. The company
talking
behind
like
this
he was a minor,
operation,
you
West
gay.
African Ventures, immediately sent off a rescue mission.
Hell
However,
no.
the harsh weather made any immediate rescue efforts near
I
impossible.
don't want that
They
little
eventually
ugly
sent a
nigga
helicopter
admiring
to
me,
look for
bro.
any survivors who managed to swim back to the surface. Unfortunately, even after a full day of searching, they didn't find a single member of the Jaskin 4's crew who was still alive. This left the company with no choice but to presume the crew deceased and begin a body recovery diving mission instead. The task of retrieving their remains was handed down to 6 saturation divers who were laying underwater oil pipes nearby. The only reason they were chosen for the task was because they were the closest to the site of the incident. Still, it took them around a day to reach the site and begin looking for Jaskin 4. The harsh waves had shifted its position significantly from where it capsized, causing even more time lost before the
don't try
retrieval
to come
mission
hit
could
the
begin.
kick stream now.
Unfortunately,
Hell
that was
nah,
far
my
from the
nigga.
only hurdle the rescue divers would face on this mission. Once they located the Jaskin 4 and dove down to it, they discovered that the boat had turned upside down. It was now resting on its primary mast, which could collapse at any time. Due to significant pirate activity in that area, all of the Jaskin 4's entrances were also locked shut, forcing the divers to use specialized underwater torches just to gain access. Sadly, their assumption turned out to be correct. By the afternoon of the 28th of May, 2 days after Jaskin 4 had sunk, the rescue team managed to recover the remains of 4 crew members, though 2 were still missing. But just as all hope seemed lost, one of the divers, named Tony Walker, made an incredible discovery. For some context, Tony was being instructed on what to do by his supervisor Colby Veritz from the surface. Tony was also inhaling a gas mixture which was partially helium, making his voice higher. While looking around the upside-down boat, he came across what looked like a human hand. He assumed it belonged to yet another fallen crew member, but to his surprise, the hand moved and grabbed him back.
Alright, so you should be walking on the ceiling, yeah? Okay. What's that? Okay. Alright, you found one, yeah?
What the fuck?
It's alive. Okay, keep him there. Alright. Just alright.
Damn, he been alive. That would have scared the fuck out of me, bro.
Alright, just keep him there and keep him calm, okay?
Hey,
Alright, just
Classroom Release Season 4, I didn't start it yet. Now you just reminded me. I gotta watch it.
Okay.
This was 29-year-old Harrison
That's the
O'Kenny,
least you can
Jaskin
do,
4's
nigga.
resident.
Appreciate the sub. L as mob, my nigga. That's the least you can do as a mod, is be sub. That's the least you can do, nigga. Fuck your sub, nigga.
Cook. After over 60 hours underwater, Harrison was somehow still alive. He also seemed quite
Wait, how
aware
many
of
hours?
This was 29-year-old Harrison O'Kenny, Jaskin 4's resident cook. After over 60 hours underwater, Harrison was
60
somehow still
hours?
alive. He also seemed quite aware of everything that was going on around him, and
This nigga was underwater for 60 hours? Nigga, what? And he was still alive? That nigga said I'm unsubbing. Why you unsubbing, my nigga? I was just joking. But no, 60 hours is insane, bro. Hell no.
remained calm to help the rescuers do their job. Apparently, Harrison was in the bathroom when the boat capsized. He tried to rush to the emergency latch, but water rushed in and trapped the crew inside. To his knowledge, Harrison was the only one who managed to survive after creating a makeshift indoor raft from plywood, cardboard, and a mattress. After finding him, rescuers gave him fresh water and a harness to keep him close. However, the divers knew they didn't have much time to plan a proper rescue mission. You see, the air pocket Harrison was in was about to run out, likely in less than an hour. Harrison could end up suffocating if they didn't act quick enough. On the other hand, they couldn't just strap him into a rope and pull him back to the surface. He had already spent over 2.5 days in an extremely
Right, that nigga
high-pressure
gonna die
environment.
quick as hell.
Taking him to the surface too quickly could have caused decompression sickness, which in extreme cases can also be lethal. Fortunately, due to their job of installing underwater oil pipes, the divers were
Thank
uniquely
you.
equipped to deal with these exact issues. More specifically, they had a pressurized diving bell attached to the vessel, which they put Harrison in after consulting a doctor. Had this been a standard diving crew with regular scuba gear, they wouldn't have had anything to keep Harrison alive. Once back on the surface, he also had to spend some more time in a decompression
Damn,
chamber
they
to avoid
clutch.
decompression
These niggas
sickness,
OP.
and was fairly okay after that. However, while he recovered physically, the mental trauma of being trapped in an upside-down boat on the
Bro.
ocean floor for over 2 days.
What you mean how they a rescue team with no supplies? Don't you see this nigga alive? Ooh, that rhymed. Shit, I just rhymed again. Call me Rapper Dave, my nigga. But you can clearly see they had the equipment to keep this nigga alive.
With no idea if anyone was coming to save him, left him with
But
PTSD,
nah,
something he is
60
still
hours
recovering
though,
from to
nigga?
this day.
Fuck no. Nigga say
On
you got a
December
freestyle
13,
right now.
2013, YouTuber Kodiak Thunder uploaded a video showing a near-death experience he had
I'm
while
not a
diving.
rapper, my nigga.
Unlike many other divers, Kodiak's motive wasn't to just dive as deep as he could or reach some underwater landmark. Instead, his diving sessions were more about catching fish and crustaceans by
Man, he
hand or
grabbed
with
that
a spear
nigga
gun.
quick as hell.
But while chasing a lobster, he swam too far into an underwater cave. He managed to catch the lobster he was after, but when he turned around, he had no idea how to get out.
What you mean? The same way you got in. What the fuck? That nigga said, bro, how he? You not surviving that, bro. If it was me, nigga, I would have put a door down. You feel me, on my Minecraft shit.
Fortunately, after swimming around in the cave for a few minutes, he was able to find the exit and swim out without any trouble. However, this was incredibly lucky. The thing is, diving on its own is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah,
A
I
single
don't get why
distraction
niggas
can
do
quickly
that
spiral
shit.
into an irreversible tragedy. But unless they're very deep, divers at least have the option to just swim up to the surface and wait for rescue. Though, not with cave diving. One of the primary hazards in a cave is the environment itself. Unlike the open ocean, many underwater caves have floors covered in
Bro, I
extremely
ain't
fine
make the emo
silt.
shit,
A
bro. I
poorly
gotta do
controlled
the
fin
emos,
kick,
bro.
or even the exhaust bubbles from a regulator hitting the ceiling can dislodge this sediment.
I
This
gotta do
creates
the
a
emos.
silt
You just
out, a
reminded me.
condition where the water's visibility drops to absolute zero instantly. Divers'
I'ma forget
high-powered
right after
lights
the
become
stream, though.
useless,
I'm already
and
on.
in some extreme cases, the diver can't even see their own hands, let alone their surroundings. This also makes them unable to see their gauges
Damn.
or the guidelines. In short, they no longer
shit
know
make
where
me
they're
wanna
going,
close my
where they're
eyes.
supposed to go, or whether they're getting the right gas mixture. At best, they can keep swimming and hope the cave is straight enough to eventually lead them away from the murky water. But if they can't monitor their gases, nitrogen poisoning can become a serious problem. It impairs both their cognitive and motor function, leaving them to take their final breaths in the cave unless someone is there to rescue them. Even then, rescue isn't always an option. Many underwater caves are extremely narrow, and with tanks and other essential gear, navigating these tight spaces becomes even harder. In most cases, there isn't even enough room to turn around, so if one diver passes out, the others can get trapped behind them and lose their lives there as well.
Bro,
One of the most well-known
compact-ass
cases of this
area, bro. Why
exact
are you
scenario
there?
happened on February 6, 2014, when a team of
Bro,
5
did y'all
passes
see
out,
that?
the others
It's
can get
close
trapped
as
behind
hell.
them and lose their lives there as
Bro, fuck no.
well.
I could
One of the
not
most
do that,
well-known
bro.
cases of this exact scenario happened on
Anything can
February
happen.
6,
Imagine that shit.
2014, when a team of 5
Something
Finnish
break, the rock
cavers
just
visited
come
Norway
down.
to go cave diving through
Your ass
Plura
gonna get
Cave.
crushed.
All 5 of them were veteran cave divers and knew exactly what they were doing. They even had mapped out the exact route they planned to follow. However, as they were crossing the narrowest section of the cave, the cylinder of one of the divers got stuck, preventing him from moving forward and blocking the others behind him. The chaos of the situation
niggas
resulted
have a
in
map
2 of
of
the
the
divers
cave- of a
panicking,
dive
failing to
cave?
monitor their
Like, what?
gauges, and passing away within minutes. The other 3 barely made it out alive as well. One had to squeeze past the stuck diver by removing his gear and swimming the rest of the way, gasping for air from tiny pockets along the ceiling. The remaining 2 had to turn back and exit through the original entrance with almost no air left in their tanks. The fact that any of them made it out alive was nothing short of a miracle, highlighting the true horror of underwater cave diving. Because when
This is
things
another
go even
reason why you
slightly
would
wrong
never
during
see
a
me
cave
doing this.
dive, even the most experienced and well-prepared divers can struggle to survive.
Damn. Damn. Top 5 most disturbing caving videos? I might check that out. Let me see if it's another video. I want to react to another video.
Oui.